Begin PODFIX network transmission in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, this is former WWF Light Heavyweight Champion Gilbert, brother, and you're listening to the Cretins Guild Podcast.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Piss me off.
Are you talking to me or our audience?
No. Oh, you didn't hear? You didn't hear that?
Hear what?
That was my
What I
other
hear?
personality talking. Sometimes he externalizes and sometimes he doesn't.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Yeah, what about, hey, fuck you.
I'm not talking to you.
See, here's the thing. You never know when he comes out.
Jazz hands.
Yep.
Audio podcast.
He hates jazz hands. What the fuck are you talking about? He also hates very performative intensity like that. See, is it me or is the other person talking to you right now? And if I say, well, fuck that other guy, then who is he referring to? Myself, because he suffers from a serious case of self-loathing.
Is this your cold open bet?
No, it's not.
It's not. Imagine you're listening to this podcast for the first time. And the first thing you hear, that will pretty much generalize not what this podcast was aiming to be, but what it ended up as.
What were we supposed to be?
Well, remember, we were supposed to talk about board games when we first started.
Oh, yeah.
Can you remember the last time we talked about a board game on this show?
Sundry nerdy topics and the quiz show. I fucking forgot about it.
The Nerd or Not quiz show. Yep.
Nerd or not. And yeah, you know, all of that died along with our venerable Mr. Peoples. I don't know. That's kind of a better cold open than what I wanted or what I was going for. That's pretty good.
All right, run with it.
Oh, yeah.
Bottle it
Hey,
up. Let's use it.
Hey, it's topical. MoonKnight. What about it?
I'm digging MoonKnight
Yeah?
very much without knowing almost anything about the character. I know nothing about MoonKnight.
I don't think a whole lot of people do.
Did you?
So few people. I only knew about him because of Midnight Suns, and I knew that he was supposed to be basically Marvel's knockoff Batman. But you know how they're delving into the whole splintered psyche aspect of his character.
Right.
The original which character was it that was like the cab driver or the chauffeur? That was originally supposed to be Mark Spector's Matches Malone persona. You know, like a street informant, right? But then
did Moon Knight have more than two personalities?
Well, he does in current continuity. Yeah, he's got like 5 or 6. I don't know. You know how they keep making like new personas for him. Like, right, exactly, because it's comics. There's like 8 Hulks now. Did you know that?
Like Bruce Banner Hulks?
Yeah. There's like 8 different fragments of his psyche, or I'm sorry, manifestations of his psyche. So there's like, you know, the standard Hulk. There's the Devil Hulk. There is.
So you're not talking like Red Hulk and She-Hulk, who are totally different characters.
Oh, that's before we get into other palettes of Hulk that are internalized by different people, different characters.
God. Is this a rabbit hole I want to go down?
Not necessarily, but I'm just keeping it current with, you know, Moon Knight.
No, please continue.
Yeah,
Moon Knight.
Well, so few people knew about Moon Knight because at least Howard the Duck had a shitty movie to his name. He's got infamy, you know. So few people knew about Moon Knight that they completely like scrapped his abilities from the comics and gave him actual powers because he doesn't have powers in the comics. He's actually just supposed to be Batman, except he's a shitty Batman.
It reminds me a lot when they first announced Guardians of the Galaxy, and you and I knew exactly who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and we were like, "Oh, are you kidding? This is going to be awesome! How are they going to make this work? A talking tree? A talking raccoon? Oh my God, this is going to...
Well,
how did they get this passed?
They gave it to the right guy is who they did. It was somebody who was like Mazzo enough behind the camera to make it work. Also somebody who explicitly understands like the cross-medium, I think... how to translate comic books to a completely different
screen.
medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because so many people have been trying to do it with concessions, because they keep listening to market analysts and executive producers and stuff. Well, people aren't going to buy this. You have to make it like this kind of. You have to make it dark, or you have to make it super on the nose. You got to like lean like way into that bullshit so that like nobody in the audience respects it. And Gunn's like, no, look, people know about comic books. This is not alien. This is a commonly interpreted language. Everybody knows about the paneled page now, and that's not going into the whole not into the idea that like nerds own everything now, culturally and socially. It's just like when if you show like the straightest of the straights a comic book, they'll know what the fuck it is, and they'll know how to read it, and they'll understand like the visual language of it. And Gunn knew that. He was like comic book movies exist in universes where there are comic books, which is how they get the garish costumes and the silly fucking code names and shit. And he seems like the first person that kind of like just internally got that, whereas everybody else was just like, yeah, we know what comic books are, we know how they're supposed to be presented, but let's look at this guy and how he does it, and then kind of work from there. By the way, this is stupid, but speaking of like comic books, has anybody ever, speaking of James Gunn, has anybody ever seen James Gunn and Tom Cavanaugh in the same room at the same time?
Can't say I have.
Yeah.
Or seen James Gunn in person, for that matter.
That's a very valid point, but I'm just.
But if you're talking like press events and whatever, yeah.
like,
God damn it, Bob! Stop breaking down rhetorical questions.
Well, I kind of, now that you mention it,
That's
have
what
you ever
you're
seen?
gonna do.
Yeah, that's what rhetorical questions exist for, to be shat upon, or to just be chewed up mercilessly during meandering conversations like this.
And that's where we come in, because we're pros at this.
Duh. I mean, have you ever if has James Gunn and Tom Cavanaugh ever shown up at the same MegaCon and been out to give autographs at the same time? That's something that ought to
I don't know if
give you
James
pause.
Gunn's ever been to a MegaCon. That would be an awesome thing to research.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, because he might be a little bit more visible than the other guy, but maybe that's why he invented Tom Cavanaugh.
He's his alter ego.
Yeah. Here's another good question for you. Have you ever seen Tony Todd and CCH Pounder in the same room at the same time?
Jesus. All right, I'm going to ask what the three people still listening are asking. Who the fuck are they?
Really? No way. Tony Todd's
okay.
Candyman.
Oh.
And CCH Pounder is...
the actor? I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah, the actor. And CCH Pounder is an actress who just looks a lot like Tony Todd. I think...
Okay, the horror movie community probably loved that joke.
I'm glad they did, because that was who I told it to.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. Basically, the joke is some human beings look like other human beings. Isn't that funny? Isn't it? No? Okay then. Okay, let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Oh. Well, how about... We tried it your way. Hey, how about some intros? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, and people of all ages.
Fuck, why stand on ceremony by this point? We're 8 minutes into this bullshit.
We still gotta do it. We are the Cretins Guild, although there's just the 2/3 of us, so we're probably just the Cretins Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay's not with us tonight. He felt like he needed to take care of family, like those people do anything for him. I mean, my family is bigger than his, and those people, I can't. They wouldn't survive without me.
Is this a work for the belt? Are we doing shoots?
It might be.
This is so good.
Also, an update on a belt challenge. I'll tell you about it near the end of the podcast. Just remind me of that in case I forget.
Which should be pretty easy because of the theme that we weren't supposed to get into. Yeah, do the intro. I'm sorry. Bounce off of that and make it proper.
I don't know if that's possible, but anyway, we are the Cretins Guild. We are a proud member of the PODFIX network. You can find them at podfixnetwork.com. PODFIX Like a
Like a motherfucker, right.
We haven't done this in a while, since episode 100, so we are now turning a new page into a new era of Cretin Guild broadcasticity. I don't know.
Jim Hellwig, is this you? Ultimate Warrior. Why do I know his real name over his more popular or more well-known stage name?
Didn't he ditch that name? Like he changed his name to Warrior or some.
Oh, like legally? Yeah, he tried to own that whole Warrior thing for a long time because he had such a mad-on for Vince.
Well, a mad-on for pissing off Vince, but yeah.
For pissing on Vince, yeah. But for some reason, like, once I found out that his real name was Jim Hellwig, then that became the Ultimate Warrior to me. I was just like, oh, hear what Jim Hellwig's been up to lately? Huh? No.
I don't want.
Oh, the Ultimate Warrior. You know what the Ultimate Warrior's been up to lately? Huh? No.
Is he still alive?
Well, no, unfortunately, that's what he's been up to. Fertilizing.
Ah, God. We're going to hell. Save me a seat on that bus.
That's cool. If we get there, we can tell the Ultimate Warrior what we've been saying about him.
Oh, God.
Bob, your show might be doing a lot better if you fucking kicked that Corey dude off.
No! It would just turn into every other show out there then.
Oh, that's giving way too much credit, dude. Oh my God.
Well, you had mentioned wrestling.
What's that?
You had mentioned wrestling.
Okay,
let's get back on track.
Oh, yeah, second. Do it.
Yeah, we're going to segue, and we're going to talk about something that happened at the beginning of April.
We're going to get that seg in an arm bar and drag it right back up into this fucking ring.
There you go. I like that.
Or underneath the canvas. Undertaker style. I was gonna call him Undersucker. What?
That's his Bizarro World version.
I guess so. No, he'd be Overtaker, wouldn't it?
Overtaker. That does sound like a Vince McMahon creation.
Yeah, or Undergiver, which according to a lot of mid-carders from the mid-90s...
Undergiver?
Undergiver, yeah. That's a really forced joke. All right, take the reins. They're yours. Sorry.
All right, well, as most of you might know, I was hired by WWE almost a year ago now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the people
was the summer
that
of Bob.
it was before the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hired to work on the NXT broadcast. And my job was I was hired onto the team. This is just a little background for anyone who doesn't know. I'm part of the crowd sweetening department, which is a group of guys who add sound to the crowd. At the time, because we were during the Thunderdome era, there was no crowd. So we had to provide crowd noise with cheers and boos and yays and claps. And
now,
it was crazy.
To be sure, you don't belong to any like all-encompassing audio department within WWE. You belong to a group within the audio department that does just this specific thing. I'm kind of like a subgroup but it's still all under the WWE umbrella. My checks still have Vince McMahon's signature. That's not true. They go directly electronically to my my bank. I'd never see a check. Otherwise, I'd probably frame them. Because I was going to ask you, like, if he signs it and then draws a little dick at the end on each of this check. or a little hand, like a baby hand. Or something.
What? I could see him doing that. Like once every other 5 checks or so.
Actually, that was like my joke question. My actual question was like, do you think that when Triple H takes over WWE, it's not going to happen? Oh, it's going to happen. Oh, really? Oh, no.
His health hasn't been that great.
Triple H?
Yeah, he's had some massive heart issues. He hasn't been at an NXT show. Oh, I want to say, when did it go down? Probably somewhere in the fall of last year.
Shit.
Yeah, he just before WrestleMania started making appearances at NXT, but he doesn't have a role with the company anymore. It's basically Matt Bloom and Shawn Michaels who are running the show.
Holy poop.
with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. They pretty much line up, okay, we want this happen, we want this to happen, we want this to happen. Matt Bloom and HBK, they pretty much put it all together and was like, okay, we need to have this happen and this go over here and that guy fall off over there. And and then it just like cascades down. So it starts up with the top with Vince and Bruce, and then it just boom, boom, goes down the stairs after that.
Oh, that's kind of worrying. Well, I obviously wish good health for him, because when he was in charge, it was a great product.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, there goes my fucking joke.
What was
I was
it?
gonna say, does he actually sign the checks with like 3 of the little H's in a row, and that's legally binding? But man.
I wouldn't care how much it would cost me. If he did sign a check like that, I would frame that, stick it up on the walls, like.
But here's
not Paul Levesque, not Hunter Hearst Helmsley, HHH.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing: he doesn't sign it in like in cursive or anything. He actually signs it with like with him sketching out like the heavy metal style H's that he used to have on his trunks
with an iron cross around.
It, yeah. Like it's the stuff he pulled out of his Comp 101 ledger. This is gonna be my name in the ring one day. I'm sorry. This is gonna be my name in the ring one day. He probably sounded like that when he was 10.
Yeah, he probably did. Just this is good.
Mama, where did you put the Lucky Charms?
All right, so yeah, I started doing that for NXT. Then we started allowing fans to come back very slowly, and then eventually, like, full-fledged, all the fans are back. And it was WrestleMania of last year, where they were kind of like on the verge of, well, do we want to keep this audio sweetening? Do we want to like phase it out now that we have crowds back? And then Hulk Hogan showed up.
Oh.
And saved my entire department.
Really?
He came out at WrestleMania with Titus O'Neil. Night one, very first thing you see, they both come out, audience booing the ever-loving crap out of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, man, that was a ballsy fucking casting decision.
But you don't hear that at home.
No.
What you hear at home is constant, loud cheering.
Yep.
That's when the people behind the scenes at the top of the production level were like, I think we should keep this crowd sweetening around. It seems to be pretty helpful.
Honestly,
it'll allow us to tell the story we want to tell.
Didn't WCW like make a lot of hay with that kind of a concept back during the Goldberg years?
They both companies were using like some kind of crowd sweetening every once in a while. Like there was some canned heat and some canned pop but it was very obvious because they were pumping it into
canned pop.
They were pumping it into the crowd so the crowd could hear it, and their point behind that was to get the crowd excited so they would start cheering. It's like, oh, we hear cheering, let's start cheering. Or, oh, there's booing, let's start booing, that kind of thing. Almost everything we do now, actually, we used to do for NXT, we would feed it into the stands just to get them going. Like we would start like an NXT chant or a This Is Awesome chant. Right. But that's about it. Nothing else would go out to the fans. Everything we did would go straight out to TV.
Right. There's something kind of filthy about that. But I don't want to talk shit to you about your job. But yeah, there's like, I don't know. Why does that feel dirty to me?
Well, everything feels dirty to you, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean,
you could look at a pencil like, I can think of 3 things that are improper with you right now.
Did you say I could look at a pencil and think of 3 things? There's 3 things improper that I could draw with a pencil. Probably
that's one of them right there.
Probably 3,000 things I can think to do with it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this like recently. I don't know. It feels like we did, but what's that type of a sense of humor where you see like a really like adorable dog, just being walked close to you, and then you look at it, and the first thing you think of, look at that little piece of shit. What an adorable little fucking like dog nugget, you little prick. Yeah, you're right. I have a unique talent for corrupting everything wholesome.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we love you. But anyway, back to the crowd sweetening.
Right.
So what we use crowd sweetening for now is to whatever the direction the crowd seems to be going in, like they're cheering for something or they're booing for something, we will add to it to enhance them, make them sound bigger than they are. So instead of like 300 people, it sounds like 600, 700 people.
That's clean to me because it's like you're not suggesting anything. Because it started organically.
This is true, but there are times where there are production notes where we're told when this person is like doing a promo, they pause for a moment. That's a good time for you to put in some cheer because we expect the crowd to be cheering at that point.
Right.
So that's kind of what we do. Now, sometimes they're yelling at us to cheer or boo. It's like, okay, buddy, whatever you want. Cheer, boo, cheer, boo. And then you look at the audience and they're all on their phones. That happens quite often.
Has anybody at What Culture or whatever the popular wrestling chat show is now caught on to this yet?
I have seen them point out like once or twice when they've noticed a mistake. Because here's the really interesting thing. All the crowd sweetening we do is here in Orlando at the Performance Center. So wherever the show is, Raw, SmackDown, or now that NXT is traveling again, the signal comes to us. We insert the sound here in Orlando. Insert. And then that signal with our audio then goes to the network. The trick behind that is because there's a slight video delay from where the picture from the live event gets to Orlando of maybe like somewhere from half of a second to a full second and a half, which initially, like non-TV people were like, oh, that's not a big deal. It's like, that was a second right there.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Well, that's because we understand time differently. 10 seconds is like a half hour to us.
Oh yeah, I hear a 10-second cue. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finish my coffee first.
Yeah, well, that's a slight exaggeration. It's more like 10 minutes to us, but still, we can do like when we're asked to, we can do like so much shit in under 10 seconds because, like, we kind of like count life by the frame.
On top of adding cheers and boos and other stuff, while like people are doing promos or there's a graphic comes up, so we have to cheer for that or whatever. Yeah. I'm also responsible for giving reaction noises for like big moves. Like if someone is going to do a pickup body slam,
chops.
We used to do the chops ever since the Ric Flair things. Like, we're not gonna do the woos.
Oh no, what happened?
We just put a little break on the woos. That's all. The higher ups are like, we're not gonna woo for a little while. If the crowd does it, we can't control that. Whatever.
Right, exactly. Like a holy shit chant.
Yeah, but if someone is doing a drop kick, we have a series of different sound effects we have to hit on the impact, like when it happens. Now, keep in mind, I said the video is delayed. So I have to wait till there are a certain point in the air before the impact happens. So it times out right. Now, the trick is I'm not always told when someone's going to dodge a move or it's not going to make impact initially. I do have like a communication to the producer of the show and the segment, the producer who wrote the segment, because he's right there on headsets and he's talking about, he or she is talking about what's going to happen during this match, and they mention moves. Okay, here he's going to kick out, here he's going to jump through the ropes, here this is going to happen. And that was really helpful during the Thunderdome era because I was like, trigger, hit, trigger, sound.
That was training pains or growing pains.
Yeah. But now with Raw and SmackDown with the delay, I've got to actually watch it, anticipate it, and I think this move's going to make impact. This move's going to hit. This move's going to hit. Boom. Impact. Yes! I got it.
Yeah.
It is like the opening segments to Raw and the closing segments are the most heart-wrenching, like unbelievable gut punches I've ever sat through as a TV person.
Yeah.
Well, because I over the time I've been working more and more shows, more Raws, more SmackDowns, and then I started working some pay-per-views. And then at the beginning of March, they booked me to work every show during WrestleMania weekend. That was SmackDown,
Cash
NXT.
money fucking hustler, you.
Well, yeah, it was a good paycheck, but holy shit did I earn it.
I can understand, man. Well, the first question was that, like, isn't telegraphing an impact for every single time that move happens a little bit? Doesn't that like water it down somewhat? Because I think I know what the noises you're talking about. Whenever somebody takes a drop kick, and whether they connect or not, somebody always hits the canvas, and depending upon how they're their size, you always hear that like boom of the ring.
No, you're thinking like Foley artists, like sound effects. What I'm producing the kind of noises that crowds would make. So like a big heavy duty punch, and you'd hear the crowd go, "Oh!" Or
okay, I thought
like
that was kind of just like a subset of tools that y'all were in charge of. Okay, never mind.
No, we have, when you hear somebody hit the mat or sounds like that, that's legit. Those
yeah,
are
that
real
should be the
sounds.
mic that picks up the mat noise, because that's why they build the mats in the way that they do. Which
Well, yeah,
happens-
the mics do pick up stuff. That became the segment on Botchamania eventually.
Yeah, and that was my follow-up question. That was what I was going to ask you originally, is have you made a Botchamania yet?
Not deliberately.
Yeah, 'cause you could have some unknown infamy out there going for you.
Okay, I will share this. There was this time, because it's like an internet signal that's going from the live shot to the PC in Orlando. Sometimes there's like little glitches in the signal. Sometimes it like kicks out or whatever.
A glitch.
During it was recently too, during a Randy Orton Matt Riddle segment where they are in the gorilla position and the camera's on them, and we're providing crowd noise, just like murmurs and little crowd mumblings. The signal just died for some reason. The signal to us or going back to them, somewhere in there it just died, and you completely heard it because you hear.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was extremely noticeable. And that was probably the only time anything I did made air. Of course, there were a couple other times where people aren't doing anything, but folks are complaining. It's like, why are we hearing cheering when everyone has like these mellow faces on?
They just got in the ring, and there's a 3, 2, and a 1. I don't. Are they predicting the end of the match?
You know how happy I am I don't have to do that anymore? Because
during the
Thunderdome era, we were providing the crowd going 1, 2, 3, the countouts. And I always had to do the 1 to 2. It's just, is this good? Are they going to kick out at 2, or do I hit the 3? It was always like, it's one or the other, one or the other. And I never knew which one it was until the segment producer would say so.
And there's always that spontaneous element too, because the wrestlers will the workers will plan out a match, but nothing ever really goes to plan 100% of the time. Especially if like one dude's about to, go completely maverick and just like tear up his contract right then and there on the air.
That's a lot of money to tear up on live TV.
It's not the CM Punk, is it?
Well, it's funny you say that, because that actually happened during one of the matches in WrestleMania. And if you want, we can go through the matches one at a time through the entire card of the weekend, and I can tell you like some interesting stories.
Oh, do tell. Reveal the magic.
And, well, it's not really I'm revealing anything, because everything I'm going to tell you is stuff that has gotten out through, like, dirt sheets or other sources. I could just tell you everything I'm explaining is stuff that I experienced through an open headset that was open to, I don't know, like 500, 600 people. So anybody else could have heard this and shared the news as well. So I'm not really divulging anything special. It's just it's possible you might not have heard this before.
Right.
But let's go ahead. Let's start with WrestleMania Night 1. Right off the bat, we had the Usos defeating Shinsuke and Rick Boogs.
Rick
Boogs.
Boobs?
Boogs. With a G.
Boobies
Boogs.
like breasts? Like titty?
Sure. Rick Boogs. You see, this is why our shows take an hour each.
I want. He
Corey
probably
can't read.
That was very intense. Well, I don't have that window up anymore.
Oh.
We're both suffering here. Hold on a second. And by the way, regardless, I would have made.
I love how I make
joke.
a rundown for nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason do I make one.
What's a rundown, Bob?
I don't know. I need to stop.
Oh
doing
man,
it
it's
because
right
nobody
here. You
fucking
typed
wants
it
that.
in big bold letters in
Underlined it 3 times.
Yeah, Rick Boogs. If only I'd seen that, I wouldn't have made that outrageously predictable and stupid joke. Yes, I would have.
Yeah. Trust me, the first time I ever saw him, I hadn't heard of him before.
Yeah.
And the announcers were saying his name so quickly. I was like, did they say his name is Rick Boobs? Is his name really Rick Boobs? And it was like one of those situations I didn't want to turn to the guy who had been there for the last year, hearing this name over and over again and act like an asshole. It's
Yeah.
like, is his name really Rick Boogs? Or is it Boobs? It's like,
No.
you know what? Eventually I'll just figure it out. And the whole time I'm like, can we put up like a super of this guy so I can read his name? Because I swear to God, you guys are calling him Boobs.
Yeah. See, if your Chiron guy was about to quit that day, it would have been Boobs. And they would have been Boobs from there on forward in perpetuity for the rest of that guy's career at the WWE.
Yeah. Well, getting back to that match,
Yeah.
there was a spot where Rick had both of the Usos on his shoulders. And
Rick who? Rick Boobs?
Rick.
Okay.
Kick a dead horse, why don't you?
The Usos! Right?
Yes.
Sorry.
He had the Usos on his shoulders, and he was doing like this power move thing where he'd lift them up, and then all of a sudden he hit the ground and was grabbing his knee.
Uh-huh.
So apparently he had hurt himself, and he rolled out of the ring, and then the match like quickly came to an end after that. Like after
He's a sensitive Boogs.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right,
He was tickled. No, you won't. No, you won't. The interesting thing that I from what I was watching is the doctor staff and the people who are usually in charge of when somebody gets hurt, they were making their way very slowly over to him, and I was questioning, was he actually hurt or is he working this? What is going? Is this part of the angle? And the whole time, I really could not tell if he was actually hurt or not. They were sure acting like he was, but they weren't putting any like serious emphasis.
It wasn't urgent?
Yeah, they weren't acting like it was urgent, and they got him backstage, and I think halfway before the show was over, they announced that he had blown out his ACL or something like that. And I was thinking, that is an awful quick assumption or an awful quick diagnosis to make. I do realize that this was in Dallas's football stadium, so they probably have a medical facility in the stadium.
Right, yeah, okay.
But yeah, the whole time I'm like, did he really get hurt? Or because I was questioning it.
Well,
My
you were
audio
thinking the right questions. That's what I was about to point out.
Well, it's funny because I was just watching this video on YouTube earlier today that's like 10 times the WWE fooled you into thinking one thing and it was something else. I'm like, yeah, there's been a few times. But honestly, when you're watching wrestling, there's 97% of everything you see you were supposed to see.
Right. The one, by the way, so what eventually happened to Rick?
He did, I think, legitimately blew out his knee, his ACL or something. And to this day, I'm still kind of like, did he really? Did he really?
But as far as you know, he wasn't being fake Boogs.
Yes.
All right. A part of me wants to apologize for that. Then the other part of me wants to smack that one part of me for even thinking about it.
Well, you'll be apologizing all night if we...
Yeah, it's true. Second match. All right.
All right, so this is the one that was very interesting. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I hate that name.
That's
This is
a great
former Lone Wolf Corbin. I don't even remember what his full name was when he first started.
Wait, Barry Corbin?
Was it Barry Corbin?
No, it was Baron, but I called him Barry Corbin.
Baron
the actor.
Corbin. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. God, he's been just Corbin for so long. So
shit.
I know you haven't been watching, but his new gimmick now is he won like a lot of money in Vegas, so he's got like this happy persona, and he's flaunting money left and right. So this is the one match that I thought had like the biggest potential for something bad to happen. Not in the match, but the entrances were so freaking elaborate because it's WrestleMania. They're going to do everything up.
Right.
What happened was Drew was going to come out, 40 guys dressed in kilts with bagpipes and swords and like from local Scottish legions or whatever. Obviously, they flew these guys in because I don't think there's any of them in Dallas.
Right. I don't know. There's a Highlands game in pretty much every major metropolitan area in the country. Seems like, anyway.
I really have a hard time seeing like the Texas branch of the Highland Games. But you know, it could happen. It could happen. But the thing was, these guys all came out, and if you ever been to like, as you said, like a Highland game, these guys don't dress alike.
Right.
Because they represent different clans, so they have like different colored shirts, different
different tartans.
Yeah, different tartans, different everything. So these guys all came out. None of them looked like they were all together, like you would see, like a marching band, I guess is what some people were expecting.
Yeah.
So someone said, you know, let's not use them because we don't have shirts that fit them because some of them are some pretty big guys, like in the stomach.
Yeah. Most of the people that are like part of those social groups tend to veer up because they're also competitors.
Right. But these were all musicians, and a couple of them were swordsmen. They were going to stand on the edge of the ramp and like hold their swords as Drew walk underneath it. It was going to like be this whole thing, and then they decided, let's plan this better. Send all these guys home.
Aww.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. That's so cold.
Yeah, they didn't get used. I think they're gonna try and use them again for like SummerSlam or some other big pay-per-view, and they'll probably all look at like they're in unison at this point.
Yeah.
So the match starts. Drew comes out. He doesn't have his bagpipe guys. He does nothing there. He gets out to the ring. Well, here's the other funny thing. So that was the mishap on Drew. The mishap for Corbin was he was going to come out
there.
He was going to come out in a Rolls Royce, and as McIntyre's music is ending and it's starting, or they're starting up Happy Corbin's music, I hear on the headsets, it's not starting. We can't get it to start. What's going on? Producers are losing their minds. Get him out! Get him out there! Get the music's going! Get him out of the car! Get him out onto the ramp! Go out into the ring! The headlights were left on, and the Rolls Royce battery had died.
Wow. See, that would have made for good television.
And it never came out from behind the back. So, because they had, I think, 4 or 5 cars ready to pull out at any point, and then they would just like put them in reverse when no one's looking, put them right back again.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the cars we were supposed to see, and you never would have known at home. It's like, oh, this is kind of ho hum, whatever. Yeah, the match was fine. After that was The Miz and Logan Paul. They defeated the Mysterios. Nothing crazy to tell about in that match.
Mind blowing that guy's gotten as famous as he has.
Well, what I hated was at the very end, The Miz turned on Logan Paul, and so they wanted us to. Well, the audience were cheering for Miz. We were told to boo for Miz, which kind of scares me because they're obviously setting up something for later in the year. Yeah. Which means I'm going to have to cheer for Logan Paul, and I really don't want to do that.
Yeah, the guy's a failed support. He's a failed bit actor for like CSI for like a long goddamn time. Then he starts up a YouTube channel, and all of a sudden, he's one of those people that like suddenly.
I honestly, I do not care about Logan Paul. I don't care about anything he does. He's a he's a stain on humanity. He's a living shit stain.
He's not even scum to me. He's just boring. He's a dude that got into show business, but he seems like one of those people that like applied for a job as a famous person, and then was handed the job, and all of a sudden he was famous for undisclosed reasons. All I knew is that he had a YouTube channel where he did things, but he did things that were like, I don't know, far better performed by other people. Dude shouldn't be famous, yet somehow is.
Don't disagree with anything you said.
Yeah.
Going forward, the Bianca Belair Becky Lynn match, that was probably match of the night in my opinion.
cool.
Nothing really to tell there. Nothing really interesting there. After that,
it was match of the night.
Yes,
Okay,
which meant
all right.
everything went smoothly. The match itself was great. There was nothing else I could really tell you about it that went wrong or that I really noticed. Sometimes stuff does go wrong, and I don't figure it out, but I will figure it out as I'm watching it, like most fans will.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen too often. Usually well, I'll get to it. But first, all right, so here we go. Seth Rollins against Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Now, first off, Seth came out to a group of teenage choirs who were singing his theme as they were coming down. So we rehearsed this early in the day, and they were pretty close to the edge of the stage, and like this tiered ramp thing, I guess.
Yeah. This is bleachers, basically.
Bleachers,
right?
basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Now, they were not told how the pyro works. They were told there's going to be pyro, but with Seth and with some other guys, when pyro goes off,
damn it.
there's a little bit, there's the pyro itself, and then our pyro department always adds like a small audible concussion blast.
Yeah.
A boom, something like that.
Right.
They weren't told about the concussion blast, so they were standing and they were pretty close to the ramp. It's like, we're gonna do a pyro test with you guys. Boom, and the flame shoots straight up, and they were pretty close to it. Like close enough where all of them jumped. It was the funniest thing in the world, just seeing all of them just bounce back and like fall over each other because they weren't expecting the noise.
Oh, good. So, but this didn't cause any on-air issues.
No, this was during the rehearsal,
Okay.
and they were all laughing about it. They were getting a kick out. I was like, "Oh man, that was so funny," and whatever. So when we do go live, they had pushed the risers back further so no one get hurt, and they knew it was coming, so they were better prepared for it. The thing is, a lot of people were noticing that once Seth got into the ring, there was a very, very long pause before Cody Rhodes came out. And a lot of people thought that it was to build tension, which it was for like the first 15 to 20 seconds.
15 to 20 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere, I would say about 20 seconds. Everything after that was the producers yelling to the pyro department, "Are they clear? I need to know, are they clear?" And he was referencing, there was a camera crew of a camera guy, an audio guy, a grip, and like someone else on the ramp. And the ramp on its sides leading all the way up to the stage were these mortars for pyro that were going to shoot off like in unison, like boom, 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 going up the ramp.
Oh God.
And from where the producer was sitting, he couldn't tell if that camera crew was clear of the blast, and no one was answering him.
Oh no, they did not rehearse that part of it.
No, they did rehearse it, but he couldn't tell how close they were.
That's part of the rehearsal.
Well, yes,
Positioning.
it's part of the rehearsal, but when you're visualizing it from another camera that's at a weird angle, you can't tell. So that's why he wanted to confirm it with the pyro department. Are they clear? Hello? Are they clear?
Oh, dude.
I will hold them up all fucking night if you do not tell me if they are clear.
Yeah.
And the whole time I have my hand on my face. I'm like, oh God. Oh God. Did WrestleMania just get derailed? Oh God, what's going on? I think the whole process probably took 30 seconds, but it felt like an eternity because he was not going to trigger the pyro if he knew the camera crew if they were still in the line of fire. Eventually, what felt like forever, somebody finally chimed in. Yeah, they're clear. Yeah, they're good.
Was it the floor guy, or was the floor guy still in a tent?
It was somebody from the pyro department. I guess what they did is they heard the pyro department. They heard the cue. Are they clear? And they're probably like, "What's he talking about? I don't know what's he talking about." Oh, go check to see if he's clear. So like one of the underlings like sticks his head around the corner, and, like casually comes back, and he goes to his chief and is like, "Yeah, they're clear, man."
Yeah, you got to do it in the voice though. That it's like, yeah, they're clear.
They're clear, blimey.
Bargain bin Michael Caine. Yeah, they're clear, mate.
The whole time the producer's just screaming his head off. Well, I need to fucking know if they're fucking clear. Otherwise, I will fucking hold up this entire fucking show. I mean, it's great that he had safety on his mind.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of love him for that, because he will not do anything, drive a show into the dirt, into the ground, 6 feet under, if it means keeping someone safe.
Well, that's spot on risk assessment.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Anything that he could have done in that moment to get the show going would have been a negative outcome, not even in the long run, immediately. So yeah, there was more for him to gain holding the show up. And hey, at least you're building suspense, right?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. It's like, oh man, they are really building suspense of who this is. Oh, because they don't tell us.
Yeah.
The secrets, who's coming out or whatever. We all knew it was Cody.
Yeah, right.
Everyone knew it was Cody. Everyone's dog knew it was Cody.
As was previously detailed earlier, you probably heard something. There's no lore. There's no lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they won't tell us who's coming out. They won't reveal it to the people on the headsets. So that match went really well. The crowd got really hot for that. Mm-hmm. After that, we had the Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey match. The crowd absolutely freaking died there. They fell asleep during that match, especially.
Oh, that's what you mean by die. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I thought you meant they screamed themselves into an early mortality.
The crowd is in a coma.
Oh, that sucks. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, it's bad when.
Well, more or less sorry for Charlotte, because she used to be like, she comes out to the ring, you fucking jump up, typically. You knew you were going to get a good show out of her.
But right now, she's the heel,
mm-hmm.
and Rousey was supposed to be the face, and nobody cared. No one gave a damn.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought Rousey was done. Because she did her I am wearing Roddy's t-shirt thing for a while, and then people were like tepid at best during her appearances.
Well, it's when she started saying that wrestling fans suck. That's when they started turning on her. It's like, oh, we don't care about her anymore. And apparently she did it as in character, which I call bullshit on, but
yeah, that's what I thought. That she had just gotten it out of her system, and then suddenly the luster of it wore off, and she's like, okay, I'm past this whole wrestling thing. And that came off in a lot of her interviews that way.
And the funny thing is she wasn't wrong. A lot of wrestling fans do suck.
Well, duh. I mean, fans of anything general. Pretty much just, they suck. They're annoying on a good day, of course.
Star Wars fans and wrestling fans are the worst fans. Hey, if we got fans, we absolutely fucking love you. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, you could be the dregs of the earth, and we'd still be all about you. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
We'd probably relate to you the best if you were exactly that.
You're one of us.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome.
All right, so after that, that match was kind of dull, so we had to add in a lot of crowd noise to really spruce it up and bring it to life and everything, because it wasn't going home well. After that was the last thing of the night, Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. That
wait, sorry.
You heard me right.
Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yes. Do you not have the thing written down right in front of you?
Now I'm looking at it, but it's a whole chunk of a Wikipedia article that I'm using to keep up with you. This thing is my rundown
down to
right
the results
now.
Page.
The results page? Okay.
It's like 3/4 down.
There it is. Number 7. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Kevin Owens by pinfall.
Yeah, go figure.
I didn't hear one thing about that until you told me just now.
Well, first off, you're out of the loop. Welcome back. You're out of your element, Corey. I knew we were going to be going through this at one point, because I knew you hadn't paid attention, but at least I get to talk about it.
That's a big fucking deal, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Shit.
Not my fault you didn't hear about it.
No, it's totally my fault that I didn't hear about it. By being ignorant, predictably so.
So the idea was, during rehearsal, Stone Cold, he'd start walking out, and then he would turn around, go back into the grill position, and then he would pop out on his ATV.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't realize that
somebody left the ATV lights on.
That would have been so funny. But
all the vehicles are actually parked next to each other in the prep area, and somebody was like, "I thought we were supposed to leave all the headlights on."
Some intern, some poor guy. I was just parking the vehicles, man. I don't know if it's true or not. I am willing to believe that Steve Austin is a professional ATV driver. I don't know if there's a circuit for that. I don't know if they do races. I would totally believe it if he did, because he came around the corner so goddamn fast. He came out from behind the stage, down the stage, turned down the ramp, went around the ring twice, and he did it at top speed on an ATV. At one point, he curved so hard, he was on side wheels.
Really? Wow.
He did not give a damn. And the ramp going down from the stage to the ring is thin. It's not very wide. It's probably wide enough for 2 ATVs side by side.
There's not much allotment, is what you're saying.
There wasn't a lot of real estate.
ATV shenanigans. Okay.
Yeah, and if you go off the side, it's a steep fall. Remember at WrestleMania, the beginning of the ramp at the stage?
Right.
It was like a pretty good drop off the edge of that. It was equivalent to that, to the WrestleMania that you and I went to.
Ew.
Because he did this during rehearsal, and the producer got over the intercom, like, maybe we take that down to like 1/4 speed next time.
And Austin's like, hell no, because he's already had his broken neck days.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Stone Cold does what Stone Cold wants to do. He came out and they said, all right, Steve, don't flip the bird when you're standing on the turnbuckle before the match, you know, where he goes to the 4 turnbuckles. They told him, don't flip the bird, don't cuss, don't do this. And I turned to
Why did they just tell him not to show up?
Well, yeah. I turned to my audio teammate and I was like, you realize we're on Peacock, right? It's not like we're on NBC.
Yeah.
We can do almost anything we want. But at the same time, when he like stuck his hands up, we made sure the cameras would cut him off at the wrists.
Yeah.
Because once we went live, Stone Cold's gonna do what Stone Cold wants to do. He came out there full speed, flipping birds, kicking stuff over, and then when the match started, he went into the crowd. We were not prepared to go into the crowd.
That's new. That's a new
Yes.
Stone Cold thing. Yeah.
And Stone Cold's one of the few guys who could get away with that, because he went out there, he took a suplex from Kevin Owens onto the concrete floor in the crowd area.
Ah, damn.
Yeah.
That's risky at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And producers were flipping out. I was like, why are they back there? Who authorized this? And the segment producer's like, not me, sir. I told him not to do that. And he did. He's doing exactly what I told him not to do.
Yeah. And then Stone Cold gets up and looks into the camera and grabs the mic and says, I authorize this. Stone Cold 316 says there is no rundown.
One thing I did learn about that weekend is the executive producer is in love with Stone Cold. He absolutely loves him. Like, he will do whatever he can to make him smile, and you could actually hear over the headset his heart melting when he sees Stone Cold smile. It's like, this is the most adorable heterosexual relationship I've ever witnessed.
Bromances are pure and wholesome.
I know, it was heartwarming.
Never, even I can't corrode them.
Oh, what happened at the end of the show was we were supposed to have a drone outside to capture live footage of fireworks being shot off from the stadium.
And Stone Cold literally gets on the drone and pilots it up into the air himself.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
like Fred McMurray in The Absent-Minded Professor.
Because of everything going on, we completely forgot about the end show pyro. And so we signed off, and the drone team is like, are we still doing the pyro?
Oh shit! So they didn't get their cue, basically.
Well, no, the drone team was waiting there ready. It's just like we completely forgot about it because we were just like trying to catch up to everything that was had to happen during that main event. So they're like, all right, you know what? Just roll on it. Send the drone up. Drone's up there, and he's set off the pyro so you could actually see people coming out of the stadium for the end of the night, and all this like massive pyro is going off around this fireworks going off around the stadium.
Yeah.
And they did it for like advertisements, whatever. It's like, hey, WrestleMania was this big and show pyro and explosions and everything. Little did you know that took place after the show.
Oh man. Can
you imagine if like the show's over, you come outside, it's like, man, that was a good show. What the hell is going on out here? Did they start something back up again? We need to go back inside. All right, so that was all night one. Night
Yeah.
two, not a lot went down. So I'll just fly through this pretty quick. RK Bro, they took on the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. That was all pretty much as scripted. You know, there's actually a lot that happened as scripted in this show. Not anything really crazy.
There's only one on here that's kind of sticking out to me right now. Oh, Carmela's still with the company. That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought she was one of the ones that was cut last year or the year before.
Nope, she survived both of those waves.
That's so awesome that she was kind of like a shoe-in during the NXT Enzo and Cass era, and she outlasts Cass. She outlasted them both by like twice their tenures. Yeah. By this point, holy crap, good for her.
Bobby Lashley and Omos, that went, just as you saw it on TV. I'm gonna skip the third one. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Women's tag team match, that was pretty much scripted
Naomi.
as normal. Yep.
Cool.
Edge and AJ Styles, that started off weird. Where the stage going from Gorilla to the ramp it said like this giant Wrestlemania. It was on top of a huge 5-point star. But for Wrestlemania, the stage had like this triangular shape, and because for Raw and SmackDown, it's this perfect box shape entryway, and it's pretty high enough where you don't have to worry about anything. But for WrestleMania, it was triangular, and it was pretty steep. Most guys were able to walk. If you walk right through the dead center of under the point, everyone was fine. Even Almost, who's like 10 feet tall, he was fine. AJ Styles, who comes out wearing a hoodie over his eyes, so he's just staring down as he's walking out, doesn't realize he's not dead center of that entryway point. He's a little too close.
Okay.
Hits the side of the entranceway with his face.
Oh my god.
Knocks his hoodie off. He doesn't stop for his normal entrance pyro where he stands hunched over, flips his hoodie up, and the pyro goes off. He didn't do any of that. He came out, hit his head, got really frustrated, and just kept on walking.
Oh.
And the camera's like right on his face, and he's got blood gushing down his cheek. He's like, we're trying to figure out what happened backstage. And I was like, he hit his head. I didn't even see it. I know he hit his head.
Yeah, sometimes you have a little boo-boo. That's all it takes.
Because I called it like the night before. It's like, someone's going to hit their head on that. It's not a wide enough point. I didn't realize it'd be like one of the shortest guys in the company.
That's the nice thing about luchador masks, is that their masks and hoods are hoods. You can't really see through them. They're terribly opaque.
After that, we had Sheamus and Holland. They defeated the New Day. That match went so quick that when it was finally over, I was like, was that supposed to happen? What happened? It went less than 2 minutes.
Damn. At least long enough for, a conspirator to poop into somebody else's duffel bag.
That didn't give anyone enough time to poop in Kofi's bag. Yeah, but I when the match finally did end, we were questioning. It was like, was that really the end of the match? But I guess it was. And they were told, we need to wrap this one quick. The rest of the show, Pat McAfee, Austin Theory, McMahon versus Pat McAfee, that was just weird. Well, you had asked me if anything happened, if there was like an ending to a match that didn't go as planned. Yeah. All right, so Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. That match could have ended a lot faster than it originally did. Roman did end up getting hurt in that, but not before they went to the go home spot and it got botched.
What's the go home spot for the
for that one? What it was supposed to be was Reigns was going to bounce off one rope, run, bounce off another rope, come back and spear Brock, but something didn't go right, and on the second pass, Brock didn't turn around. And Reigns missed, so he ended up like going for Brock's like lower section behind him. It didn't look right. It was bad. It was nasty. And I guess that was supposed to be the finish. On the fly, the two of them decided, let's do this over again, except for let's improvise. So Reigns did, again, he went around, he bounced off the rope, bounced off the second rope, and then when he went for a spear, Brock grabbed his arm and put him in an arm bar, and they hit the mat. And that's when you hear Roman like let out some kind of loud yell. We're not only 5 people on the planet know what happened. I saw some people are speculating he dislocated his shoulder on the impact.
Okay.
But this is all the improvised finish at this point. Roman eventually kicked out, and he did his thing, just went to the quick finish right away, and he became champion. So, yeah, that finish was not the one they were planning on, but that's the one that the performers in the ring decided, let's do this instead.
It's a better ending than a rectal breach, you have to admit.
Yeah. Oh, God, anything would be better than that.
This sounded like what the first pass was. Has there been any word or anything? Like, has the Meltzer been on it?
Still, nobody knows like how badly he's injured. They kept teasing that he was going to be in a match at the next pay-per-view, but then last time on SmackDown, he like literally tore up that contract that he was supposed to be on. Yeah. So I think what they're going to do is, even though he's a double champion, I think the plan was for him to stay as double champion for a while, like for the next 6 months or so. I think they're just gonna milk it and like not have him perform or something like that.
Is he gonna catch leukemia again? You know,
like anything's possible.
Cold. I seem to be coming down with a touch of the leukemia. Yeah, I don't think I'll be performing for a few months.
I think in that situation, he would drop the belts in that situation. I think he's planning on just powering through it until he's well enough. Now, I did want to go back to one other match that we skipped.
Yeah.
The Johnny Knoxville match.
Which, honestly, when you lead with that name, you're kind of like, fucking Dave Arquette, right? I get it, celebrity wrestling and shit. But read the other participant in this match. The name of the other one.
Sami Zayn?
That sounds like a pretty good fucking match, honestly. Because it's all stunt work between two dudes that have like a razor sharp sense of humor.
Oh God, it was one of the most entertaining matches I had seen in a long time. And yeah, anyone who hasn't seen this needs to go watch it. It's basically Jackass the wrestling match.
Okay, that sounds okay. That sounds like it could go anywhere on paper, but I think as Sami Zayn is kind of like the foil in this entire situation, he probably didn't half-ass any of it. And
it was insane.
I gotta tell you, probably after we get off of doing this, I'm gonna go track down a YouTube or a clip or something of that match so I can see it for myself, because I'm really curious. But yeah,
they were prepping it during rehearsal, and they kept bringing out these props that were distinctly from Jackass one way or another. And they just kept bringing more stuff out. They brought out the boot where you wind up, reels back, and then kicks you in the nuts. They brought out a bunch of like tasers and salad fork prongs, and they had a wooden table set up with mouse traps all over it.
When did Jackass start raiding the Acme warehouse? I don't remember any of
this
these.
It was funded by Acme, basically. Wee Man picked up Sammy at one point and did the Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant body slam on him.
That's fucking awesome.
At one part, he's outside the ring, and like this gigantic foam hand just smacks Sammy in the face. It was so goddamn funny. And you know what the real kick was? Halfway during the match itself, Vince jumps on the headset. He says, "Can you imagine what my dad would be saying right now?" I laughed so hard I lost my breath. I couldn't contain it any longer.
That's fucking awesome.
That was so wonderful. Like, that was one of the moments I sat back and I was thinking, I'm getting paid for this. This is amazing.
It's a little shocking that you're not like kind of in a vapor every day over that fact.
I don't get to see these kind of matches every day.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, during rehearsal, more stuff came out. They kept bringing out more stuff. It was littered with mouse traps and there was a gigantic rat trap that they used to pin Sami Zayn to the mat. Let's wrap this up. Guys, I hope you enjoyed our little tale through WrestleMania weekend.
That made my face leak. Oh shit, that was so good. Cleansing.
I want to convince everyone to go check out our link tree that has all of our socials, including our Discord, which is growing by the day. Come join us, be part of the guild. We would love to have you there, whether you want to or not. I'm sure a lot of people have joined and then instantly muted because it's like, I don't want anything to do with these people. Oh my God. All right, so after that, we our co-host tonight, Jay, he's not with us, but go check out his YouTube channel, Square Pegs on YouTube, and check out mine, Skipper Bob's Breakdown. We do have merch on our TeePublic shop that features the art of Tom Sawyer.
No, that's his wrestling persona, and he's a heel. That's his deal.
He comes out to Rush.
That's right.
Tom Solo. My God. Tom, I'm sorry. We love your work. We love your stuff. We love that you do our logo. Our high-cost lawyers, Boots and Beasley from Bums R Us, assures that all the products are legally confirmed to keep you warm on those winter nights.
They are, however, reassessing their agreement with us for the foreseeable future.
As they've been advised to, but, they are bums. They're a little slow on that.
That's true. Just keep them in Manischewitz, and you know what? That's a palm greased right there.
Yeah. We are, once again, part of the PODFIX Network, and to all of our followers, new and old, we say, welcome to the guild.
Welcome to the guild, mate.
You've been listening to a podcast of the PODFIX Network. Discover more audible gems like this at podfixnetwork.com. Make sure to catch up-to-the-minute network shenanigans by following @PodFix on Twitter, official_PodFix on Instagram, @PodFix Network on Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to PODFIX Presents wherever you choose to find podcasts. The PODFIX Network, artist owned and loved.
To quote a great man, everybody take your rundown and fucking throw them away.